FOODCASTER, everything planting, eating, buying, enjoying having a relationship with food. And today we've got
Sam.
Sam eats plants. How you doing, Sam?
I'm fine.
You know, I need these.
Good.
I need these.
Put them on.
So we're going to talk about hybridized food.
Yes.
What is hybridized food?
All right. So a hybridized food has their own natural genes mixed in over the years, typically, over the decades, over the centuries, with another or a couple other foods. And so it changes what it looks like, what it tastes like, what it feels like, and the nutrition components of them from what they originally were. And I want to talk about it because there's, in the health world, there's this fear of hybridized foods, and we shouldn't eat anything that's hybridized.
Look at some of these photos.
I don't know if most of them are real. I don't think that coconut one is real.
No, but I mean, that's where we're going, isn't it?
Well, kind of. There's some things that have been done.
Okay.
That need to kind of be talked about. So, there's a fear around hybridized foods, and I think the fear should really be around genetically engineered foods.
Okay.
Okay, there's a much clearer difference. So I'll give you an example of something that's hybridized. Wine. Anyone that knows anything about wine vineyards and grapes, they will take a certain grape, a Pinot, a Cabernet, to eventually make a wine. But sometimes you can graft one type of grape vine to another grapevine, and then you make a different grape that kind of has the components of both. And it takes a little time, but it makes it a new grape. Now, that's natural hybridization. Like, these are two things that already exist in nature that someone physically is trying to just put together and see how they grow and make a new grape. There's nothing unhealthy about it. It's new, so it's different, but it's not unhealthy. Now, you can also take, and this is real, so I'm saying something that really happens, a carrot that we know of, these orange carrots. By the way, orange carrots are hella hybridized over the centuries. Carrots never looked like that before. That's not how a carrot looked. But anyway, not at all. But we'll take an orange carrot, right? And in genetically engineering to have a carrot that maybe has a more vibrant color, or maybe a higher fat content. In labs, they can take the genes of a salmon and put it into the carrots.
Wow.
So this is on the market.
Wow. Just to get that color.
To whatever it is they're trying to do. The problem is, if someone has a genuine allergy to seafood, and there's a plant food that has genetic engineering of an animal product or a fish product in it, they can have a reaction and have no idea where they get the reaction from, because they don't know that carrot is genetically engineered, because in America, you don't have to label things genetically modified or genetically engineered. Now, you have to label it that way in other countries.
Okay.
But not here.
How long have they been doing this?
So genetic engineering on a mass scale going into our food system started in the 80s, but it started like a small amount. So though they started it then, in general, most of us weren't consuming genetically modified foods then. Now it's very different. So the most genetically modified foods include soybeans, wheat, and corn. Soy and corn, and kind of wheat, but definitely soy and corn are in everything, almost everything that's packaged.
Wow.
So if anything has high fructose corn syrup, which is almost everything, including ketchup and bread and peanut butter and a bunch of other stuff, that's corn. And that high fructose corn syrup is genetically modified. And they don't have to label it. So you're getting a version of genetically modified corn in the bread and the peanut butter and the jelly that you're eating in your peanut butter and jelly. Like, you literally have corn in all of that without knowing you have corn in all of that.
Well, in the scheme of things, that's not that long ago.
It's not that long ago. So we don't know the long-term effects of eating genetically modified food as a species. We
Well, if
don't
we
know it.
are what we eat, that gets a little scary.
Well, I told you the other day that the corn, some of our corn is modified to make the stomachs of an insect blow up.
Right.
And you're not going to tell me that doesn't affect us at all.
Wow.
Like, the insect's stomachs literally explode.
That's just crazy.
So what does that mean for us? The big thing is we don't exactly know. Maybe some scientists, some very niche scientists that, like, that's their job, maybe they kind of know, but the information isn't widespread yet. We don't really know. And we haven't done long-term testing. We are the test. We are the test. Just like fen-phen, just like cigarettes, just like anything else that has come out that people are like, oh no, this is not good for us, let's get off of it. We are the test right now. We don't know what it's going to do for us.
This is a photo from edibleisland.ca. This is what I envision. Somebody just in a lab coat and just with a syringe but this is not what it is.
Well, that is genetically engineering. Yeah, no, that is like that. That happens in a lab.
Wow.
But natural hybridization of food has been happening for centuries, for millennia even. And those we don't need to be scared of. But there still is in the health circle this idea, well, the carrot's not natural, so I'm not going to eat it. And things, yes, it's true. The carrot never looked like that. But the way the carrot looks now, meaning long and orange, like that, it was done in natural ways. So it's not bad for us, but I would probably agree that the more original carrot has far more nutrients. Now, if you have carrots that are purple, there's purple carrots, there's yellow carrots, there's white carrots, those are older and they're not as hybridized as the orange one. Somebody just decided, like, this is what people want to see.
Orange carrots.
Same with tomatoes. Someone decided that these red tomatoes is what's popping. This is what people want to see. We want to make sure this happens. And that's why red tomatoes are so prolific. When tomatoes are of various colors. Brown, green, striped, yellow and orange striped.
Okay, now I gotta search for this.
Look up heirloom tomatoes. And there's a reason there's a market for heirloom tomatoes. Heirloom tomatoes are older seeds. Heirloom meaning older. So they come from older seeds that haven't been as hybridized. And so the nutrition quality is higher, has more nutrients in it. They're more expensive because they're less prolific, but you can see them. They come in so many different varieties. There's tomatoes that are like brown and bleed purple.
Oh, wow.
Any really good farmer's market, there you go. Yep, so there's a striped one over there.
Wow. And they do, wow.
Yep. And their shapes are all different too. Someone also had decided, oh, people want tomatoes to be a certain shape. So there, boom, we're going to make sure.
Yeah, look, because those are...
Yep. They're all different shapes.
And colors.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And you can find that with other things, like carrots, I'm sure if you look up heirloom carrots, you'll get to have a better idea of what carrots could look like or what they did look like before we started just making these orange ones. And it's the same with watermelon too.
Well, I had a yellow watermelon.
That's not even it. It's not even the color. It's the fact that it's really hard to find watermelon with seeds these days, so black seeds.
Yeah,
and then also what watermelon really used to look like. There's a floating picture on the interwebs of an old painting, and the painting had a cut watermelon. And so to see what that watermelon used to look like, it kind of is like, oh wow. Or even bananas. Bananas are supposed to have seeds, like real seeds.
Really?
They exist in the tropics.
True.
But our bananas, which are Cavendish, so the bananas that we find in abundance in the United States, those are Cavendish bananas.
Well, that's it. Yeah, because...
And they're specifically, honestly, for us in mass production because they're easy to eat because they don't really have real seeds. Because the seeds are like really tiny and black and you don't even notice them, but they're like not real seeds. You can look up bananas with seeds and then you can see like what they're supposed to look like. But that also doesn't mean that Cavendish banana, the normal bananas that we're used to when we see in the store, doesn't mean they're not good for us. It just means if you have access to bananas with seeds, then maybe eat those more. But we don't have access to that, not in the United States.
Wow.
Maybe in South Florida, maybe in Texas, maybe in Southern California. Yeah. But yeah, just look up banana with seeds, look up heirloom watermelon, look up all these things. So anyway, there is even potatoes. Like, where are my potatoes with all the colors in them? Potatoes are not just white. They can be purple on the inside, which gives you more nutrition. It's just important to understand that a lot of our foods are hybridized because someone decided that we won't eat it unless it looks as, yes, there you go. Those are the seeds of a banana.
Wow.
That's far less hybridized. Yep.
And smaller.
Yes. Yes, they're typically smaller.
Wow. There you go.
Yep. So someone just decided, oh, these people are not going to eat it like this. Let's just like change it up and make it more marketable. Even just how it looks on the outside. There was a supermarket in France, and I believe some places in the U.S. started adopting it, where they had a section called ugly fruit. And it was a way to deal with the mass food waste in our food production. So I don't know if your listeners know this, but 40% of food that is grown is lost before it even goes into your refrigerator. So this is from harvesting. And some of that food is lost just because it looks weird. Maybe a lemon that has like 3 ends instead of just 2. Or a carrot with like four little roots coming out of it instead of just like one long carrot.
Wow.
Anything that looks a little different. In our culture, we throw it out before it even gets to the supermarket because we just figure no one's going to buy it because it looks weird. Right? That's what we do. Instead of having an education like it's all the same thing, everything just grows different. So in France, this one supermarket tried to have an answer, a response to all this food waste before things even hit the supermarket. Like all this food that gets thrown out while there's people who are hungry, food that gets thrown out just because it looks not pretty. So they called it ugly fruit. And in this area, in the supermarket in France, they had this ugly fruit station, and everything was like, I forget how much percentage off, but it was like 60% off or something like that.
Wow.
Same thing, but they don't look pretty.
So, what about tomatoes or watermelon? If I want a yellow watermelon, or I want a brownish or striped tomato, will it be less expensive?
No, it's more expensive because they're not mass produced.
Gotcha.
That's basically how everything's done here. It's about numbers. And so if every tomato, beefsteak tomato, looks like this, they know how it's going to grow. They know how much waste. Like, there's so many things that are predictable about it. So it works in a capitalist economy. It works really well. So when you want more genuine food, more heirloom type food, you'd have to go to a farmer's market or Amish markets. They have older seeds, and so they can grow older apples. I remember once, I wonder if they lied to me. I was at a farmer's market getting apples, and when apples are in season, I go crazy getting apples at the farmer's market because like those are the apples I want. And they specialize in some heirloom ones, and this one was telling me that this particular apple that they were selling, those seeds haven't been changed from 500 years ago. So it's older. And I don't know if you know what I mean when I say that, meaning so many things are hybridized in our regular diet. Broccoli is super hybridized, like a lot of things. And it depends, like, well, when was the last time this seed was adjusted? So this particular apple, the seeds had last been adjusted like 500 years ago. So it's super heirloom. It's like of the same exact type that someone would have eaten 500 years ago, and I thought it was so cool. And I bought 2. They were expensive. And I'm like, I'm getting old nutrition.
Right.
I'm getting more genuine food. This is old food. This is ancient food. But yeah, as we keep playing with it, we toy around with the nutrition levels, but doesn't mean that we shouldn't eat it. Broccoli, at the end of the day, is one of the best foods you can eat against cancer. One of the best foods, or might be the best food against cancer. And it's super hybridized. So does this mean we don't eat it? It literally does do well for us. It's not as nutritious as it would be. It's sweeter than it should be. We hybridized it to become sweeter and less earthy and less greeny. You know, we can find other versions of broccoli that kind of still taste that way, like broccolini and broccolette, that kind of still have the more original what broccoli is supposed to taste like. But it doesn't mean that broccoli doesn't also do us good. I would only say we want to make sure we don't have genetically engineered foods, because those are very new and they're splicing things unnaturally. They're using a lab to do it and not just like natural grafting. Even not a plum, but you've probably seen things like pluot, or they have other names for it, but it's like these combinations of apricots and plums.
I've seen that.
But those were natural. Like someone decided to like just graft pieces of the trees together.
I remember that from middle school.
Oh yeah?
We did a whole thing on grafting, but we're not talking about grafting. I'm talking
about both.
You're talking about both.
I'm talking about both, because there's genetically engineering, and then there's just more natural hybridization, which is like humans kind of playing around with the plants. When you just play around with the plants, it doesn't mean it's detrimental to our health.
Right.
When it's something's genetically engineered in a lab, when you're splicing like salmon and carrot genes together.
Because that's never going to happen in the natural world.
Never.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen. Like, we don't know what's really going to happen. But we're not going to have ill health from eating a pluot. And we're not going to have ill health from eating these Cavendish bananas.
Check this out.
Yeah. Oh, the older carrots.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I found some more carrots. I showed it earlier.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Those we can find more often. Those really dark ones that you had up, I've never seen those.
I've never seen that before.
I've seen purple carrots. Yeah. I've seen purple carrots. I've seen yellow carrots. I've seen purple cauliflower, but purple cauliflower I don't think is old. Oh man, if you ever seen an ancient corn, like corn is completely different. That also makes me wonder if I should even eat corn at all. I do get a certain feeling from corn. Something happens in my body, and every now and then I'm like, should I even be eating this? I'm not even sure.
Wow.
What corn used to look like?
This is so beautiful. Glass gem corn. What's that about?
Those we could still find. The ancient corn doesn't even look like that. But yeah, that's what corn should at least be looking like. And I'll tell you why. Plants should have these colors, because these colors represent nutrients. So when you start trying to make it one color.
Red corn?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's beautiful.
You can still get red corn at farmers markets. Oh no, I know. I see that.
Wow.
I see it.
Shout out to Google for the pictures.
I don't see it. Ancient. Put like ancient corn. What did you write in ancient corn?
No, I put in heirloom.
No, don't put heirloom. Put ancient corn.
Okay, me.
Because that is crazy. It doesn't even look like corn at all. And it's like, what? That's where it came from. So, but also I say this to not be scared of like natural hybridization, because it looks like a stick, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I guess you found it.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Ancient.
Yeah. This one right here. Look at that. That's corn.
That's corn?
That was like corn like a 1,000 years ago.
Wow. It's just a little stick.
Yeah.
Wow.
And through human interaction with food, they hybridize it to become thicker and to have more kernels. And then what mass production of agriculture on a mass scale has done is to make it all yellow and grow very tall. Corn used to not grow so tall. They used to not grow so tall or yield as much. That's what our hybridization did, and now it's genetically modified. So now I don't know. I just know one of my rules for me is if I eat corn, it has to be organic, because that's the only guarantee that it's not genetically modified.
Okay.
And that should be everyone's rule, because corn and soy and wheat are heavily genetically modified. So especially soy. 95% of all soybean crops are genetically modified. 95%. in the United States. So if you have a soy product and it does not say organic, it is genetically modified. Don't even play yourself. Like it is. And not all, unfortunately, not all or soy that's, how should I say this? There is soy that's not genetically modified and also not organic, but it's so specific you have to know the brands. And I know the brands, but like it's so specific. So to me, just be safe and just buy it organic.
Right.
Seriously, or don't buy it at all, because I don't know what that's doing to our bodies. And neither do the creators. Neither do the creators of these crops. They don't know what it's doing to our bodies either, so we don't know.
That is really scary. Yeah. How would you know? It's too young.
You don't know. You don't know, and we don't label anything, so we really don't know. But yeah, but for people who like follow a lot of Dr. Sebi things, and they're like, oh, we need to eat ancient foods. It's like, well, enjoy starving, because you saw everything that you just looked up. You won't find all those things yourself? Are you gonna regularly find them dark carrots, the seeds, bananas with seeds,
right?
Watermelon with seeds? Like, you can't do that. Old broccoli, ancient grains, like it's not possible to do that in any functional level in this country. Not unless it's your full-time job. So would you rather actually just be in a calorie deficit, or can you just eat broccoli? Like just eat the broccoli.
Right.
You're not actually harming yourself. The only thing is, yeah, ancient broccoli had more nutrients. Sure. Okay. But you're not harming yourself with real broccoli, with current broccoli. So just eat it. And it's not to say Dr. Sebi didn't know what he's talking about. He's right. Dr. Sebi definitely had said things that made sense, but we have to live in this world. And to call things out like, well, don't eat lettuce, because lettuce is like hybridized, only eat kale. All right. Do you have kale all the time? Like, is it easy to find? Are you ready to wash it? Are you ready to chop it? Because romaine is far more easy to come across. And for people who are trying to change their diet, and they're just eating romaine lettuce, they're already doing a great service for them to themselves. Okay. And they shouldn't be deterred away from eating it. Just eventually, maybe like get other stuff in there too. But it's fine. It's not actually harming them to eat romaine lettuce. It's not harmful. It's not genetically engineered lettuce. It's just a hybridized lettuce. And hybridization has been happening for thousands of years.
Do you feel the pressure, especially online, but just socially as well? People that want to change their diet and people that are into this for a while, just throwing too much information all at once? Oh my God,
yes. It is too much, because some people are just like, how do I make rice? So if you're coming from there and you're hearing somebody say, oh, but don't have peanut butter that has hydrogenated oil. And it's like, what's that? Like, it's just going down to a place where it becomes too much. And I've shared my story, how I did everything step by step over years. I changed everything step by step over years. I took years. And I'm not even sad about it. I took years. But if what we need to know before we tell people what they're doing is right or wrong is find out where they've come from. Okay. And if the direction is a right direction, then cool. Don't tell them not to do that. You already see that they're going in a direction. Right. If it's just a conversation, well, we can converse about this stuff all day and talk about all the little steps of health. Because honestly, if you just make the decision to just eat more fresh food, no matter what they are, it's still going to benefit.
Right.
You know, I choose to never have berries or grapes that are not organic for the things I know about how they're sprayed, right? But if someone doesn't eat anything fresh and they start getting regular strawberries, there's more benefit to them than harm. So just let it go. Let it go. And maybe over time, when they're used to eating those strawberries and berries, talk about, well, this is why they should be organic. Because they're heavily sprayed, and they're sprayed with this particular compound, da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Are farmers markets safe?
It depends. What's great about farmers markets is you can talk to them, and you can find things out. So some of them are not certified organic because you have to pay into that. You need to have tilled over the soil, I think like 5 years, something like that. And so it's a lot for a small farmer to get the certification. So what you can do is at a farmer's market, if it doesn't say organic, say, do you spray? Sometimes I say only when we need to, which is better than mass agriculture where on a regular basis, the plane flies over the crops and sprays everything just every Tuesday, every Friday, you know?
Okay.
That's different than they're having a little issue with this bug right now. We're spraying right now because of this issue. So you can talk to the farmers and you can find things out. Also, when things are from a farmer's market, they're typically picked closer to when you're going to buy them, and they're on the vine a little bit longer. So when you pick something unripe, you've already like curtailed the type of nutrients, the potential it could have had. When something is local, they're picking it at almost ripeness, not like mass production where they're literally picking green tomatoes. I don't know if people know this, but the mass-produced green tomatoes that you find in a regular supermarket that are red and juicy looking, they are forced ripened with ethylene gas to look that way. They are picked green. They are picked green. But let me explain why so that it doesn't sound so scary. Ethylene is given off of a lot of fruits and vegetables. Like, they give off ethylene. So if you want to ripen, let's say, an avocado faster, stick it in a bag with an apple and a banana, and it will ripen faster in the bag because the ethylene gas from those other two things are going into it, and it's helping to ripen. So don't be scared because I said ethylene gas, but what they're doing is more a synthetic ethylene instead of like the natural ethylene from just being around other fruits and vegetables. But know that they're picked green. So if you, I'll say this. The tomatoes you buy at a supermarket, and then try a tomato from a farmer's market. The taste difference is outstanding because at the farmer's market, they're picking it up maybe a day or two before they hit the market. So you're getting it almost where it's supposed to be versus a tomato that's picked super green and now you're forcing the ripening. The tastes come from the nutrients. When they are lacking those nutrients, you cannot get that taste.
You cannot
get that taste.
Okay.
Unless you genetically engineer it and you put fake things in it. Then that taste can come up. But no, you cannot get that taste. So yeah, farmer's market is different. Sometimes they're not organic, but if they are closer to being ripe, then you have more nutrition than the organic mass-produced tomatoes coming in from California.
Wow.
So there's all these things in between.
And I've heard about that too, where the amount of time produce gets to you, it's also losing a lot of nutrition.
We've talked about meat before. Like, once an animal's dead, then it's putrefying. Like, understand, once an animal's killed, then the flesh is just getting old.
Right.
We want to
Same thing with fruits and vegetables.
Same thing with fruits and vegetables. Once you pick it, it's no longer aging, it's just getting old.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, things are lost in transit. So farmers markets are great for that because most of the time they are harvested a day or two before they hit the market. And most of the time they're harvested at almost ripeness, like where it's good enough. Truly, truly, truly ripe fruits and vegetables fall off. But they can't do that because they're going to lose product. You can't do that. You can't wait for it to fall off. You have to pick it. But they pick it at a good point, and you know it because when you're there and you buy those local cherry tomatoes, it's like a fiesta in your mouth. It's completely different.
What about economically? Farmers market versus supermarket?
Typically, a farmer's market is going to be more expensive because they can't mass produce. But they have more nutrients. And typically, we overfeed ourselves. And so one of my thought processes is when you eat more nutrient-dense food, your hunger level is not as strong, it's not as voracious because you're feeding your cells what they need.
Okay.
It's just different. So sometimes I tell people, you can if you want to, if you're able to, spend more money at a farmer's market, you will end up not really eating as much. And so it'll all work out anyway. So
give us your social media.
You can find me at Sammy's Plants on Instagram, giving that daily daily education.
Awesome. Michael 7. Michael, you're watching Foodcaster.